Today on the Winning with Shopify podcast,
we decided we like coffee and tea and we want to start our own business.
Such a cool brand. Coffee is actually amazing. I'm not just saying that. I've even got a mug of it here. Again, I've had too much coffee and here I am drinking more coffee to live the dream.
At that stage, our online sales doubled and they've continued to grow.
Like as the owner, when it goes wrong, I'm the one who's got to step in.
Rather than competing with the cafes in Perth, we supply them.
I love discussing stuff. I love learning things.
Because coffee is essential, of course.
Of course. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast. If you never tuned in before, welcome to the show. My name's Nick. Such a pleasure to have you listening to this. I've drunk way too much coffee today. I asked twice for decaf coffees in the office. Both of them were accidentally sent to me, caffeinated, and I drank them anyway, which is all very relevant because we've got a coffee company on the show. Both an avid listener and client. Lorna, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hi, Nick. How are you?
No one ever asked me that. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. And Lorna's from the Bean Shop, guys, and I love the Bean Shop. Lorna sends us coffee. This is empty because we drunk it, and Lorna's going to send us some more. And I offered to pay for it, and she's not sent me an invoice, so we'll sort that out after we finish talking. But Lorna, you run the Bean Shop. Well, you're obviously a client of ours. You've listened to the show for quite a while. Obviously, you guys are on Shopify. Such a cool brand. Coffee is actually amazing. I'm not just saying that. I've even got a mug of it here. Again, I've had too much coffee, and here I am drinking more coffee to live the dream. Tell us more about Bean Shop. How did it start? How did you get involved? Who else runs it with you? Give us a full overview to the Bean Shop in a nutshell.
Okay, well, we opened the Bean Shop in 2003 in Perth. But the reason I got into coffee was I was a poor art student in Aberdeen and I had a part-time job in a coffee roasters there. And my now husband, John, had the pub next door. So I suppose the official line was that he came into the coffee shop for coffee, but quite often I was in the pub, I'm not going to lie. So that's how we met. And his business was a family business. So they sold and we decided we like coffee and tea and we want to start our own business. So John was born and brought up in Darjeeling. And so he had the tea background. And that's how we got into it.
Amazing. And there's something, there's so many ways for you guys to connect back then as well. Something to drink during the day, something to drink at the end of the day, which means it's not the end of the day because you can have another drink. But fantastic that you guys got into that. You said you were studying at the time. Did you pretty much go actually, instead of applying all the things I've learned studying, I'm just going to start a business straight off the back of it? Was there a gap or?
Well, I've worked in shops since I was 13. So I started in the Highlands. I worked in a supermarket and I worked in a sweetie shop. And then my uncle had a corner shop and I worked in there. And then I was in a gift shop. And then I was in the coffee roasters. And I really loved the coffee roasters because it just felt so wholesome and everybody was happy. So it felt like the right direction to go in. And of course, art students finish art school and they don't have a job anyway. So it kind of
made music. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So it just kind of all fell into place, really.
Nice. And what's interesting as well is I think all those the background you've got in shops, I find so many people start a business and they're like, I've got an idea. And they think almost like, and again, I don't want to be rude to anyone listening because sometimes it's that hard graft and making mistakes that gets people to what they deem success. But actually that background must have really helped you rather than some of the stores going, I've got an idea and that qualifies me as a CEO and a entrepreneur in an e-commerce store. But actually having that background in shops must have helped you with the shop itself because immediately you're like, I just know how we're going to lay out the furniture, where the coffee machine's actually going to be itself, how much we charge, what it means to create a connection with the customers so that they come back. There's nothing worse than, I can't remember where I was this morning. I went into Nero's, and it's a dirty word, but I went into Nero's after the gym because I get free coffee. So when I got a coffee and they had a trainee barista there and she didn't make any conversation with me or anything. And I was like, I love coming in here. And I've almost not enjoyed it. I'm probably more sensitive because I work in marketing, but you must have had so much experience to that. It was just, we don't even need to discuss it. It's second nature. Your now husband and yourself, we know how we're going to run this thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think a lot of what we do is a combination of all the different places that I've worked, actually. And I always think it's good to make your mistakes while somebody else is paying you for them. So if you want to go and have a job somewhere to figure out what you're going to do, just go and work for someone else's business first and see what you like and what you don't like. It's not to say we've not made mistakes or changed what we've done, but I think both of us were very customer focused kind of. We're happier when we're serving people. I think we're just that sort of, we would definitely be downstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know from working with you as well. And Elliot told me to mention him on this because he was like, one of my clients coming on. This is
I was
awesome.
going to mention him
He,
anyway.
I know, but he's far too shy to come on the show. I was like, Elliot, do you want to join us? He's like, no. So I'm going to shout him out. He makes the reels as well, so this might end up on Instagram. What I'm saying, right
brilliant.
But I think I mean, one of the things that he's certainly picked up on, and I have from talking to you as well, is you know, you're very sort of charismatic. You are definitely customer facing, and that's your skill set. But I think one of the things that I think a lot of brands struggle with is they come up with an idea, but they want to sort of sit in a dark room. And then they miss that bit that whether it's the Shopify store online or it's the physical store, it's like, it's that connection, it's serving customers. And the fact that it's the same with me. Like, I love discussing stuff. I love learning things. You give me some code to do, or my accounts, I literally go and sit on a train all day because I love trains and I'm rewarding myself in advance for getting my accounts done. And I sit on the train on my laptop and do my accounts. So if you see me on a train, like, nick my laptop, the bank will be logged in, all sorts. But again, it's that, I think it's that passion you guys have got for human interaction, I guess, if you kind of really drill it down. How do, I know it's going to be a really hard question. It wasn't on our list of questions, so I'm going to go straight in with this. How do you bring that across on a web page? How do you bring it across with your packaging? How do you bring it across with customers when somebody says, oh, I'm really angry, my coffee bag arrived and it was already opened? And, you know, you get all these kind of things that are going to happen. How do you bring that across digitally to customers?
Yeah, well, that is the thing. And I think actually that's one of the areas that I think AI is going to be really helpful in, and that you can have it talk so much to your customers in terms of like we've got a little chatbot on our website. And I know that sounds very kind of non-personal, but the thing with the chatbot is it's not pretending to be a human. So it does have our company tone, the friendly kind of way that we speak to customers. I mean, what I've always wanted to do with our website is make it look and feel like the experience that customers get in the shop. We've got two incredible managers in the shop, Shanice and Emily, and they know all of our customers by name. They can even memorize their email addresses because the loyalty scheme online is the same one that we have in the shop, which makes it's just the one database. So it works really well. So I'm always trying to get that kind of personal contact thing on the website. And I think we do it in a number of ways with like the photographs of the shop showing that we're actually a real place. And then just emailing. We get customers who get in contact with us in so many different ways now. I was dealing with a customer on Sunday who had sent a Facebook Messenger message and they were having trouble dialing in their espresso. They'd got a new machine. And so I was like Facebook messaging her on a Sunday afternoon, talking her through step by step how to adjust her grind. And it was actually a really nice interaction because she felt like we cared, which we do. I solved her problem. And then I feel that's where you get your kind of natural loyalty from, because she's not going to think, right, I'm going to buy my coffee from somewhere else now, because these people actually care about what results I get. And I ended up sending her a little discount because she properly wasted like quite a lot of coffee trying to get it dialed in. So I was like, well, here, have a discount voucher, have a sort of a free bag of coffee on us, and then have another go. And it makes me feel good. It makes her feel good as well. So yeah, that's kind of our approach. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing, I mean, as your agency, I'm going to give you some advice on the podcast quickly. Like, I think what you did is amazing, and you, as you say, that's how you build the loyalty and the VIP like experience, or and they become a VIP customer. It's like, these guys help me out so much, I can't not buy coffee from them anymore. It's almost like I feel indebted to always buy my coffee from these guys. The only thing that you could have done, and I saw a brand do this recently, is they answer all their customer service requests on Instagram stories and reels now. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
so rather than sending a video or a message, they send a link and say, I've just recorded a response. And they just use their first name. It's not giving any person. So it's just like, hi, Joanne. Thanks so much for asking how to use the coffee machine. Here, but I think, yeah, it's so simple what you did. You just answered her question and you're passionate about it. So you must have enjoyed the interaction as much as it was, I need to answer this customer. And there's a responsibility to do that. Yoast have just launched something that is absolutely game changing. Their new AI brand insights tool is now in beta, and it's built to help you track your brand's visibility, sentiment, and credibility across AI platforms like ChatGPT. As search expands from Google to AI answers, this tool gives you a clear view of how your brand shows up, combining sentiment, visibility, and mentions. It's designed for marketers who want enterprise-level insight without the enterprise price, less than $400 per year. And here's the best bit. Yoast Black Friday sale is now on. So starting November 27th, you'll get a 30% discount off all annual plans, including the new Yoast SEO AI Plus. Head to yoast.com to learn more and grab your discount. But tell me, let's go back a bit. I know I jumped into that, but let's go back. Tell me how you guys went from a shop to online. Why did you start trying to sell online? There's loads of people selling coffee online, and you're really starting to make hay. I just should have used a coffee pun then, but you guys are really starting to to make some ground on that. There we go.
Yeah.
But how did that come about? How did you first
Well,
launch the store online? Why did you do it?
so back in 2003, it wasn't really a thing, but I'm sort of the black sheep. I've got two siblings who are both very techie and work in IT, AI, all that kind of stuff. And my brother was basically like, well, I think you should get an online shop. And we were kind of thinking, oh, well, that might be nice, sort of thing, and didn't really realize how big it was going to become. So we first started with a BT shop. I don't even know if you knew that those things existed, but it was like
Yep.
um, it was an off-the-shelf BT shop, and you just basically slotted a few products in, and
And it kind of worked.
and
Yeah.
it was sort of successful. And then after that, we had a website made for us. This was in probably 2004 or 2005. And it was kind of a bespoke website, and it kind of very quickly became out of date. And then we first did Shopify in 2014. And that was Shopify 1.0, and it was really different to what we've got now. But yeah, when we first started, we were wrapping parcels and taking them across to the post office.
What a different world, Lorna. Like, you're talking about like building bespoke websites. Obviously, Shopify's changed the game. I keep saying on the show, like, it's kind of good and bad, isn't it? It means there's probably 10 new coffee companies popping up on Shopify every day, every week against you guys, but also means you guys can move really, really quickly. I mean, how much are you guys selling online now compared to the store? Like, when we look at what you're doing in sort of 2025 coming into this year.
I was thinking you're going to ask me some stats, and I'm not really sure. Let's have a think. So, well, we sell coffee in three ways. So we do wholesale, so business to business. We do across the counter in the shop, and we do the website. And I think, like, really roughly, it's about a third each.
Cool. I mean, that must be quite nice having that balance. It's like if one of them does badly because of a technical issue or something else, like, at least the other two are running.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of businesses were hit like mad during COVID. Whereas if you guys have got B2B and consumer online, it's like at least we've got that stream still running for us.
Yeah, that was a big turning point for us, especially with the online shop, because up until that point, we weren't really trying, to be honest. We were just basically, there was some coffee on there. We didn't really have any of our equipment. There was tea on there, but we weren't really promoting it. And of course, with lockdown, basically our shop, although it was allowed to stay open because coffee is essential, of course.
Of course.
There just weren't many people visiting. We were sort of selling coffee over the baby gate at the door. So which worked really well. And I think we became the focus for people's daily walks, which was nice. But I started posting on Instagram just about every day, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just thought, well, this is our only chance. This is our shop window. Our shop window is now online. So it worked really well, actually. And I think at that stage, our online sales doubled, and they've continued to grow, because we thought maybe when the shop opened back up, we would get quieter. But actually, people just really like getting their coffee posted out. It works really well. It's not delicate or easily damaged, so it just posts out really well.
Yeah. And I mean, your branding is really striking, which I love about it. Like, certainly the website, it's very, like, you guys have a real, I don't know if you've heard it or anybody else has listened to it. In fact, you won't have heard it, Lorna, because when we're recording this, it only came out at the moment we hit record. But I did a whole session on branding back on Tuesday, guys, if you want to hear that. Sharing some of my experience of, I don't do branding myself and the logo and color schemes and tone of voice, but sharing how some brands have done it and some of the experience I've had sitting in that room. But how did you guys actually form your brand? Like, I mean, Bean Shop kind of nice simple name. But in terms of the actual, I mean, the top you're wearing, and I would have been wearing a t-shirt, guys. Lorna has sent me a t-shirt with Bean Shop. I use it as a pajama top, so I'll be wearing it on
That's
Tuesday.
a
So if
win.
you watch on Tuesday, it'll be there. And drinking Bean Shop coffee, of course. But I think the question really is like, how did you guys come up with that brand? How much has it evolved since like 2003 through to what's on site now?
The Bean Shop was my nickname for my job in the coffee roasters in Aberdeen. So it was actually
Oh,
called,
nice.
it was called McBean's, and it was a great place. But I used to joke about it. I'm working at the Bean Shop today. And then when I wanted to open my own place, I was like, well, just call it the Bean Shop. And I'm not sure, it's kind of like a bit like Carphone Warehouse. I'm not sure I would have called it that now. But if it ain't broken, all that. So we've just decided, I think it's more important that we stay as who we are. And then I always wanted a duck egg blue shop, so we've pretty much kept our bluey greeny color consistent. It was the kind of bluey green and brown, and then we dropped the brown. So we've just basically got black and white, and we've got our specific hex number now, so that everything has to match. We've got our brand colors. The only thing is we've picked a font which, yeah, it's not available in every sort of app, which is kind of irritating because obviously I want my emails to have the same font as my website. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
We're the
annoying.
same,
But
yeah. Our fonts are not on our emails, which is we just end up
yeah,
using Arial because it's the most
yeah,
like boring and plain. It's
uh-huh.
just keep it simple, but
But it is. You just want to be consistent.
And so that's how you come up with the brand. I think that consistency is really key. Like we had, I forget the name of the company. I didn't know. I think it was something in Quill, who came on American brand. They came on with Brian from Seguno, and I had both the guests on, and we spoke about how they did a complete rebrand. And we've mostly talked about email deliverability, but some of the points around actually rebranding and then using email to tell customers we change brand. It's like it was a massive. I mean, eventually they made it work, but they must have lost lots of customers. It was very expensive. It took time. Revenue would have been down. It's like if you don't change it, everything just keeps going. It's like it's a storm you don't have to kind of drive into. But that's the branding. How do you guys select? Like you have so many different types of coffee. I mean, the one I've got here is I'm not going to even try and pronounce it. It's Brazil. You'll know the word. Fazenda.
Fazenda. That just means farm.
Oh, nice. Well, that's
Yeah,
quite cool.
yeah.
So, I mean, how do you guys come up with like what coffees to stock? What coffees to? I mean, I don't know much about coffee. I mean, tell us. Like, I see that people have got like coffee blends and things. Do you physically get 2, 3, 4 different beans and bring them together? Like, how does that? Because you do all that yourselves, don't you?
We do, yeah. So we buy coffee from all around the world. There's different importers that we use. That some of the partners that we work with, we've worked with right from the beginning. Some of them specialize in certified coffee like organics, fair trade, Rainforest Alliance, and then other ones specialize in different geographical areas. We worked with a company that just deals with Guatemalan coffee. We buy from one guy who only sells Jamaican Blue Mountain. And so there's loads of places we can buy from. But to be fair, I can't take very much credit for the running of the roastery and the buying of the coffee because that is very much John's domain. And one of the challenges that we have is that pretty much that part of the business is all run in John's head because he's
Right.
very good at, like, he can predict when someone's about to order, or he knows how much of a certain type of coffee that we need to have in stock, and he knows who to buy everything from. So he's very much in charge of that. What I would say that we have is we've got a distinct sort of roasting style. We have some really light coffees and we have a couple of really dark ones, but most of our coffee is roasted around that area, which I would call the sweet spot, where you get a little bit of acidity, a little bit of sweetness, not too darkly roasted, not too light. And I think that's where a lot of people enjoy coffee. There's definitely been a kind of movement towards more lighter roast coffees, but I would say as a company we sit sort of more in the medium area.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mainly John's thing, but we always like a coffee that is ethically sourced, really high quality, and has a story, whether it's produced by women or whether they're building schools on the coffee plantation, or whether it's a nature reserve, or shade grown coffee or bird friendly. All of these things are quite important to us.
Amazing. And I mean, your coffee, I'm not just saying this because you're a client, but it is delicious. Like
It is good.
as soon as coffee arrives at our office from Bean Shot, Daisy, who works alongside Elliot in our PPC team, Daisy be like, we got more coffee. Like, I think we sent you a picture as well of us holding the coffee. It's like, and again, I trying to like almost over justify to you every time. Like, no, we actually love the coffee. It's so good. This episode of Winning with Shopify is brought to you by TaxCloud. It's the busiest time of year for e-commerce. Your store's buzzing, orders flying in, and growth is at an all-time high. But with all that momentum can come new sales tax exposure that you might not even see coming. That's why now is the perfect time to take a closer look at how you're handling sales tax and make sure your business is set up for the growth that you've earned. TaxCloud is our trusted partner for sales tax compliance, built for growing Shopify brands. They handle regulations, filings, and ongoing compliance, working directly with the states on your behalf across the US, so you can stay focused on running your store. They got a 5-star rating in the Shopify App Store, and listeners of Winning with Shopify get free migration onboarding when you make the switch. To apply for that and learn more, you can go to taxcloud.com/winning. That's taxcloud.com/winning. I mean, if anyone's wondering about this as well, in terms of how Lorna and the guy and John and the guys actually build that connection with customers. On the back here, I don't know how much you guys can see here or how good the light is, but it says John and Lorna on the address. It doesn't just say the Bean Shop, 67 George Street, which I think you guys have just moved, haven't you?
Well, we haven't moved our shop. So we've
Okay.
split our team into two because basically our customers were tripping over all the boxes that we were sending out. And, the shop's lovely, but it's really, really small. So originally when we started the business, we wanted to do a coffee roastery and a cafe and a shop all in one. And then we ended up buying this tiny little shop on George Street, and there wasn't room for a cafe. So it's worked out really well because it means that rather than competing with the cafes in Perth, we supply them. And which is good. But the shop is kind of wee. And yeah, so just in November, we split our team into two. So we now fulfill the wholesale and online orders from the roastery. So we've set up a new space there, which it's worked really well. And we just the staff go around in a sort of rotation. So nobody's stuck really in the roastery all the time with no customers. So we all swap round, which seems to work quite well.
Thanks for sharing that, because this is something I don't think we've ever spoken about on the show, but I do so much of this both with clients and in my own business. And I guess that, I don't know if this is quite the right phrase, but hear me out on this, everybody. It's like, it's called sweating the asset. So your asset is the coffee you make, the shop you're based in. And I mean, we did a similar exercise with and not to say we're not going to work with Lorna anymore because she's in Scotland and we're in the south of England. And although it looks like I could throw a stone to Lorna on a map if you guys live in the US. But it's a huge journey up to you guys. But we've met quite a few of our clients that are within driving distance, train distance. I'm flying out to Dublin in a couple of weeks to go and see a client there we're working with. It's only a 45-minute flight, but it's a flight. And we don't fly very often in the UK. If Scotland, I would probably fly up if I wanted to go in one day. But the point being is the fact that you're stocking the local cafes, you're suddenly it's probably the same price, I imagine, or you might offer a discount. It's like, you don't have to ship this stuff. You don't have to have long drawn out conversations with suppliers and deal with invoices and tenders and whatever other, some of this will apply to some of you guys and not to other you guys. But the fact that you can almost just carry a box of coffee at 5 a.m. to this shop, just get a wheelbarrow and drop it all off.
Yeah, John does.
And it's like,
yeah, he's a trolley.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Absolutely perfect. And if you need a trolley, nick one from the supermarket. No, don't do that. But I just think it's like using what you've got at the moment more effectively. Like we've spoken to brands before that are like, we're going international. And it's like, you've only got like a 2% penetration in the UK market for the things that you sell. Like, you're only hitting 2% of customers and you're not quite getting the right ROI to scale. Why the heck have you sent stuff across the Atlantic? What a waste of time. And then they do, and the conversion rate's lower. And they're like, guys, we've got a problem. We need a better conversion rate in the US. And the UK is still not doing what it should. And it's like, okay, but you've made the loss worse by doing the US. Like, the UK, at least we're we're still breathing here in the UK. And I think it's the same for a lot of businesses. And it's sometimes the ego gets in the way, or people get sold. I mean, you call it the American dream, like, go and sell stuff in America or expand into Europe from the UK or start selling in Asia and the Pacifics. And I think actually what you guys are doing with that is so smart. I know it's such a simple thing and it's probably second nature to you guys. It probably started because, you started having conversations with the other shop owners, or there might have been a business meetup one night at the pub or something. But it's so smart, I think, doing that. And the fact that you just said, we don't run a cafe because we don't want to compete with them here, but we'll run a cafe somewhere else. So it's just really smart. It's just very, very simple business economics to go in. Let's not cut off the hand that feeds us or the hand that drinks our coffee. But also, that was a terrible pun. But also, it's still doing the shop part of this, but in another location, and looking, customers are tripping over, we'll let them buy our coffee everywhere else. We don't have to worry about all the VAT and other stuff and running the till and stuff here. We'll do that at another site where we can do it more effectively. So I think, I mean, there's so much power in that. But I mean, with that's part of your marketing strategy. What other things do you guys do? Is obviously you do PPC, and Elliot absolutely loves clicking buttons on it. As I'm sure you know, I've had feedback about Elliot. To mention him again, some of the feedback I've had from clients, I've never met a guy that was so interested in women's skincare before, is what one of our clients said. Another one said, I've never met a guy who's so interested in dining tables and so passionate about selling them on a website. And it's like, Elliot just loves helping businesses and helping people, which is great. But what other marketing outside of PPC and the shop and the, you know, the kind of wholesale bit, what other marketing have you guys absorbed? You mentioned Instagram earlier and said that was, you know, kind of a bit of an undertaking during COVID. And
yeah. I mean, I kind of blow a bit hot and cold with social media because I kind of go all in, and then I kind of end up not really enjoying it. I think sometimes I just feel like I'm doing everything badly. So I have a break from Instagram, but my plan this year is to sort out our email. So with the whole changing of the website, we've had kind of quite a few issues with our apps that we've used. So originally we were using Perkville for loyalty, and we were using Bold for recurring orders, and then we were using MailChimp, and then we were using Yotpo for reviews. Now, Yotpo actually did most of those things. So then we moved over to Yotpo, and we were doing and then so we signed up with Yotpo, which is fine. So they were doing all of those four, and then they dropped email, and then they dropped recurring orders. So
we had a little moan about that on the phone, didn't we?
I've kind of gone through the ringer with all the apps. So I've had a really good guy help me with Omnisend. We decided to go with Omnisend because it integrates with everything else really well. And we're using Recharge for recurring orders. So my plan this year, to get back to your question, is to do more emails. Because I feel like it's that whole thing about looking after the customers you've already got. And we've got loads of really nice customers. And I kind of want to be a bit more real. And it's that whole thing about like not making everything too polished. So I kind of want to do, this is what we're doing in the roastery. This is who's working. This is what we've been up to. Here's a new coffee of the month. And just trying to get a bit more dialogue. We do all of the kind of, what's it called? The emails that are set up. I can't even remember.
Like the abandoned basket and all that kind of stuff, automatic running.
Yeah. But I kind of want to do a bit more just newsy stuff and just being in contact with our customers that we already have, because we've got quite a big database of customers now, which is good. And obviously, from a cost point of view, Google AdWords is so expensive, and you're kind of fighting with everybody else for new customers. And I'm just really glad it's Elliot's problem now, because I did it myself for so long very badly. So it's quite nice to have passed the buck on that one.
It wasn't that bad, but when we looked at it for you, bad. It's like
yeah.
Lorna, it's not bad. Like, it's not making a loss, but like I didn't come on here with stats, but I think we like doubled the revenue without changing the budget or something in a few weeks. And you almost kind of turned around and was like, "Are we done now?" I was like, "No, there's so much more we can do." But like, but I completely understand the point on it, and I think the behind the scenes is really important for your business specifically because it's coffee. It's like, I mean, this bag I'm going to keep rubbing this in. It's empty. So I need an invoice and some more coffee, please. But I think the point being is you drink it and it's gone. And the fact that you guys have such a range, it's almost like, do you know what? If someone hates us and leaves a 1-star review, we could sell them another bag or send them a free bag of coffee and go, right, you tried that one. This is the polar opposite. You like, and you said this is too bitter or it's too weak or it's not strong enough or actually it was too nutty or whatever. This one's the polar opposite because we've got a nice big range. And then you input some of that, and here's the story behind the coffee, and that's where the world is now. And I think with so many things, when somebody says that's a nice phone case, or I love that. I mean, someone literally said to me today, "I love the phone holder in your car." And it was like, "Did you just buy it on Amazon?" I was like, "No, I actually saw an Instagram ad, and someone was having all the issues I have of like it being in the wrong place on the dashboard. It doesn't charge, or it charged, but if the phone screen was on doing nav for any reason, it started overheating on wireless charge, then it wouldn't charge. So I'd drive 4 hours to a client meeting, and then my phone's dead. And it's like, well, hang on, I've been in the car for 4 hours. So this one's got a fan in it, so it cools down the phone." And you see, there's a whole story behind it, and it fixed a very real problem. A friend of mine, he's a sales director in another company, and I was talking to him at the gym, and he goes, "Yeah, I drive to Manchester once a week. Like, I drive up, stay there for the night, work there, and come back the next evening." And that's where he had just been. can you send me a link to the phone chat? Like, yeah, it's this one. And it's that kind of, it's a good product and it's solved the problem. And I think because you guys are on subscription, email clearly is so important that whether someone's actually subscribed or they just keep purchasing or asking for an invoice and more coffee. It's the last time I mentioned it. I'm joking. But I think that, yeah, the fact that people do use the product and the product is consumable and then it runs out, there's so much of a story you guys can say, like, right, so all of you that like this coffee, here's a similar one we've just started roasting and it's only limited edition or something. There's so much people to get involved with. And the coffee, you guys also sell equipment as well, don't you? It's not just the coffee bags.
We do. We sell lots of different equipment. And one of the things that we do is that if somebody buys a piece of equipment and hasn't bought coffee from us before, we just send them some coffee and say, look, just try this coffee in your new AeroPress or Hario filter or whatever. And they love it. So a lot of our reviews are like, oh my goodness, they sent me some chocolates and they also sent me some free coffee. And now I'm just going to buy it from you, kind of thing. So that works really well. I did learn something this week though about roast levels, and that's one of the things I think I'm going to add to our website, is that for the kind of new coffee buyer, I think sometimes the descriptions can be too complicated, and maybe what they need is just a basic, this coffee is medium roast, this coffee is dark roast, and so there's no surprises. And so that if you're in a hurry, you don't want to read all the blurb, you just want to make a quick decision and get something that you like. So I think that's probably something I need to go back in and work on. But there's always like 1,000 jobs to do on the website, and it's just never ending.
I think the thing we're always trying to do, and sometimes we're good at this and sometimes we totally fail at this, you can tell us how well we're doing on this front, is, I mean, Elliot's focused on the PPC and he literally just goes, I've got the ROI, money in, money out. Yeah. And like you've told us before, your margins are better on coffee. So it's like, we need to sell coffee. Forget all the equipment stuff. Like if we sell one and it's profitable or break even, fine, we might get a coffee customer off the back of it, as you say, but we've got to sell coffee. So with all the jobs, it's some of those clients are like, right, we're going to do this and this and this and this. And we sort of say like, well, that's all great. You know, we kind of play supplier, you know, nice and friendly and smiley and not poo-poo the ideas too quickly. But then say, which one do you think is going to grow the revenue as much? And they're kind of, oh, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting topic actually, of not everything you do needs to have this will double revenue or we'll get a 10% uplift. Actually, we're going to do this and we don't know what's going to happen. So the question then is, we think we should do it anyway. Like we talk to customers, we've been in the business a long time, we know what people like, therefore we're going to do that. Like John just knows, like you said, he just knows what coffee to stock at different times. And you must know as well to some degree of like, these channels just work for us. These ones I'm kind of playing with. So Instagram, I did it for a bit and I stopped, like you said, because it's not delivering bottom line growth. And I just want to make sure we're doing it right, have a think about it and go again. And that's the strategy. But I think it's really important as a business, isn't it, to kind of go, there's so many shiny objects. Like when Yotpo kind of got rid of some of your systems, which one do I replace first? And it's like having that balance of, I need to do enough stuff I enjoy, but there are things I might not enjoy, but we have to make sure that the abandoned basket email's working or we're going to lose revenue. Yeah. So how do you balance those things between yourself and John and the guys in the shop?
I don't think John and I have actually any overlapping skills. So that's quite good.
Which is good.
It really is. I think we make a great team that way. And also it's kind of just firefighting in a really kind of basic way. So we just, whatever needs done most urgently is what we sort of focus on. I mean, we've also got 2 kids, we've got a dog, we've got to try and have a bit of a life as well. And I think that's one of the things that's quite tricky, especially with an online shop, is that it's going 24/7. So I'm just probably trying not to overstretch myself as much as I used to. So it's just trying to focus on what's most important and dealing with that. And also with the online orders being quite busy, that takes up a big part of our day as well. So it's just prioritizing really.
Yeah. You are one of we kind of have like corporate clients that are like, just keep getting the sales in, and we have the more lifestyle clients like you guys. And you have sent us an email from another going, can you turn it down a bit? Like we're stacked for orders and we're trying to get them all out the door and not disappoint anyone. It's like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
We can
I know. Well, we don't like to run too long after people have ordered before we send them out. So it's kind of that balance, isn't it?
Yeah. And I appreciate your honesty, because a lot of businesses come on saying like, yeah, we're always looking at the latest strategies and testing everything. But the reality is like, I mean, if we all, I sometimes do a timesheet just to go, where have I spent my time this week? And the amount of fires I'm putting out. And I had to have a bit of I don't want to say midlife, but I had a kind of mid-business crisis a couple of years ago where I was like, I'm just constantly dealing with rubbish. Like, is everything falling apart? And it's like, no, that's just my job. Like as the
Yeah.
owner, when it goes
Yeah.
wrong, I'm the one who's got to step in. So like when the kitchen floods, I got to go and deal with that. Like when a window smashes, I got to go and deal with that. Our landlords just announced they're turning half our office into flats. So I'm now looking at new offices. That's time I didn't factor in 3 weeks ago until I got the letter. So that's taking time out. And it's like, but it's something I've got to do. But it's like, you got to make those things fun. Be like, right, we're going on office tours. Like, let's take a few of the team. And then ask random questions like, could we fit a table tennis table here? Because again, Elliot, bloody awesome at table tennis. Don't tell anyone I said that, but he's
We've got one.
yeah, so we got just the other side of this wall. We've got one, and I beat Elliot probably one in about 100 games. I'm not joking. Like it's and he gets as soon as I'm like about to win by 1 point, he just thrashes me. It's so frustrating. But let's finish on another note. So we're talking about you said a lot of the time it's where does my attention need to be taken? Fighting fires, but there is always you wouldn't be where you were if you didn't plan some stuff and have a desire to change things. So what's on the agenda for you guys going forward? Like what are your aspirations? What do you want to change? What are some of the expansions? You've obviously just opened the new shop separate to where the new cafe separate to where you got the shop.
Well, it's not
what are you guys
cafe.
planning next?
It's just basically no. It's just a space for us to do our online orders. I mean, we could open it as a shop, but we haven't done it yet. There's new furniture arriving tomorrow, which is quite exciting. So yeah,
Nice.
I've just
That's the fun
enjoyed
part of a business.
Yeah,
Get some
it
new
is.
chairs, some new lights.
Yeah. So yeah, our plan this year, I think, is to buy a new coffee roaster. So we've got a Loring 15 kilo, and we've got a bigger Probat. But I think we want to get a bigger Loring roaster, and they're amazing because they're really eco-friendly. They're low emission. They're really consistent, clean coffee roasters, and yeah. So I think that's our plan. We've got planning permission in at the moment to see if we're allowed to have it. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's exciting,
Cool.
and it will just change the structure of our day. We've also got one of our members of staff at the roastery, David, is doing a business management degree as a kind of working apprenticeship thing. So
Nice.
that's
Cool.
really cool. So he goes to uni on a Monday and then works the rest of the week. So in a few years' time, he should be able just to run the roastery,
Nice.
which will be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're in the UK, I've never promoted any scheme or anything the government's ever done. All our governments here are pretty useless, but the apprenticeship scheme is very, very good. We've not used it ourselves. We've taken a slightly different approach. We still do that, but we pay a full-time salary, and the training we do ourselves rather than having a university involved. But yeah, there's so many businesses like you guys rave about it, and it means you get a bit of a cost saving. They get to earn money while they're studying. It is actually a very, very good scheme, and I'm saying it is actually because most of the time when the government open their mouths, it just causes problems for everybody. And it's almost, I was saying recently, I would vote for a prime minister that said, I'm going to do nothing. I'll be like, great, start tomorrow. Well, don't start. We'll put you in power tomorrow and do nothing. It's fantastic. But look, Lorna, it's been so good to have you on the show. There must be some very, very thirsty people listening to this now. How can people find you guys? What's the website URL?
Yeah.
What are your social handles? How can people go and try some of the coffee?
Yeah, well, you can visit us in Perth in Scotland if you're up in this direction. So it's George Street in Perth.
Not Australia, I'm afraid.
Yes, Scotland. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And our bean shop is thebeanshop.co.uk, and our socials are at thebeanshopuk. So it'd be lovely to hear from anyone who wants to get in touch.
And if you're going to buy coffee, obviously click on one of the PPC. No, don't do that. It will cost Lorna money. Just go straight into the SEO listing. Go straight in there. But Lorna, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all the coffee you've sent us. Thank you so much for answering so many amazing questions as well. And yeah, we'll definitely get you back on in a year or so's time and see how things are going on. But yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
Cool. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back again on Tuesday for another Tea Break Talks, and I'll be wearing the Bean Shop t-shirt, which I'm going to bring it in like tomorrow, so it's ready a few days in advance. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Go and check out our newsletter. The summit is now called Growth Vault, and I explained on Tuesday as to why we've changed the name of it. So go and sign up to the waiting list for that if you want. 1st of September, everything goes live. Very, very exciting. And if you want to sponsor the show, sponsor Growth Vault, or get involved in anything else we're doing, then do drop us a line. hello@winningwithshopify.com. Thanks for tuning in. Back again on Tuesday. Do you ever find that in your warehouse you have dead stock? You can't sell it, no one wants to buy it, and you can't get a refund on it. Or alternatively, you're missing inventory in your warehouse that you need. You've got sales coming in and you're low on stock and you haven't ordered more stock in time. All these things hit profit, and I've been there. I've run my own Shopify store and had exactly that problem. But we've partnered it up with Inventory Planner, who have the most incredible app to help you manage that and forecast exactly what products, what SKUs, even down to what color of product you need to order in advance to make sure stock levels remain consistent throughout. They're also running a 7-day boot camp. And if you want to go and sign up to that, it's 7 emails over 7 days. And and it takes the same amount of time as your morning coffee. And in 7 days, like me, you can become an inventory management pro. Both links are in the description. Enjoy.